Good morning. Hello, everyone. Uh, if you are joining live drop, if you have kids and how many kids you have. Also, if you want to tell me if you're sober and you have kids, that's cool. So that's me, which you don't have to be sober and you don't have to have kids. But I'm curious, are you sober? Do you have kids? How many kids do you have? Who has 4 like me? Who out there was crazy enough to have 4 kids? I didn't mean to have 4 kids. God chose this for me. Actually, only one of my kids was planned. It's like, I have 4 children because I was irresponsible and didn't take my birth control like I was supposed to. That's how I got my first one. And then twins, same thing. Brody, middle one, was planned. But the twins, no, not planned. Not planned. But then God gave me 2, so I was like, I guess he wanted me to have 4 kids. Anyways, me 4 daughters. Oh, I have other friends. I feel like 4 of the same sex is easier. I don't know though. Like having just all boys is just kind of like I get to just like I just get boy, right? But like I don't know if they're like a mix of that would be better. So like, are you sober? How many kids do you have? Drop that below. I'm curious. And if you guys think having 4 boys or 4 girls is easier than having like 2 boys and 2 girls, or maybe the mix makes it like break it up a little bit, I don't know. I probably would rather have 4 boys than 4 girls because I just know how I was, and like the emotions and the drama and the I don't know. My dad said. My dad told me the benefit of having 4 boys is you only, like with the boy, you only have to worry about one. I don't want to say it, but one. You guys know what I'm thinking? One private part. I don't want to get kicked off of Instagram lives. But with girls, you have to worry about all of them. And I liked that. I feel like that's true. Sober, divorce, 50-50 custody, 2 girls. Oh, yes. Dude, we were real. The drama was real. So boys, you just got to worry about one. Hot dog. Girls, you got to worry about all of them. Anyways, my dad says that too. I think it's sexist. It is a little bit sexist. I do think that too. I think that but I also heard another quote one time that said women are born at the top of the mountain and men are born at the bottom. So like women are born as like a higher they just already start at the top of the mountain. They have they've already perceived to be like valuable, precious, like on the top of the mountain, and they're judged by how far they fall off that mountain. So when they make mistakes, when they are promiscuous or whatever, like they get judged by coming down off that mountain, while men are born with like a fire to prove themselves. They prove themselves up the mountain. So where you find your match is how far you've fallen and how high they've climbed. And I was like, I like this. Because I do think that like genders are different, and I don't like to say like that we need equality in all things, because we're not equal. We were made differently, and we're made differently for a reason. Like I want to be able to be in my feminine energy. I want to be able to be the nurturer. I want to be able to be like the supporting role for somebody, or I like that. I like to be that female. And I want somebody that has that masculine energy. So it's not that we don't both go into both roles, but I just thought I like that picture. Anybody else like that picture or like that analogy of that of like women are born with kind of being on top of the mountain, like having this value, having this like we need to like she's already there, she's worthy, she's whatever, and then she's judged for times that she's fallen, and men are judged by like how high they can climb, because they don't necessarily get judged for their mistakes as much as they do for how high that they can climb. Like they keep working hard, they can make a ton of mistakes, they could have intersect with hundreds of women, and they're not going to get judged for it, because if they keep climbing in their and learning and growing and getting better and whatever, they're going to get judged by how high they climb, not how far that they have made mistakes in the past. So I just thought that was interesting. But yeah, Abby says she likes that too. How do you stay in such good shape? Oh, I'm not in good shape right now, you guys. I'm like 10 pounds overweight. Well, I'm naturally athletic. I'm naturally athletic. So I'm not somebody that's going to gain a lot of weight. Like, I work out probably 3 to 5 times a week. I run workout classes 3 times a week. And then I sometimes work out outside of that, but I know at least I get those 3 workouts. But last summer I was working out a lot more. I'm trying to be a little bit healthier with my eating. It being so hot actually helps with my eating, because all I want is like cool things. I want like salad and cottage cheese and yogurts, and like I only want to eat something that's cool. So my eating's been a little bit better than this summer or winter when it's like cold outside and I'm just like nachos and comfort food. But yeah, anyways, I work out, naturally athletic. I do HIIT workouts. I do lifting. I mix those two. Like, my workout classes have weights and have like cardio, and so it's some HIIT stuff, it's some weights, and we do circuit training through there. So, but I am overweight still. I'm at 165. So when I was in high school, I was like 135, 140 maybe. So that's 30 pounds heavier than I was when I was in high school. My abs are not fire. Thank you. Yeah. So something I wanted to talk about today, I have 4 children, like we talked about earlier. So if you're just joining, I asked you guys to drop, not where you're from. That was the other live. I asked you to drop if you have kids and if you're sober. And if you have kids, how many kids do you have? So go ahead and drop those if you guys are joining now. But I wanted to talk to you guys about getting into the right rooms, getting into putting yourself in positions to get opportunities. And sometimes this is like free of charge. So I wanted to talk about this because I think it's really, really important that that we if we want something, what if we put ourselves in positions to get it, or just put ourselves in positions to maybe get it and be okay if we don't get it. But like I've gone on to events and sometimes you can't afford to go. So I'm going to give you guys an example of like going to events and how going to events got me in rooms to get me in front of people that helped me. And then I'm going to talk about how just putting myself in front of people has gotten me opportunities as well. So one, if you guys haven't heard this story of mine, about DMing Trent Shelton since 2020. In 2020, when COVID happened, I started following Trent, I think a little bit before this, but he was on an event for Rachel Hollis that I showed up for. So it was a virtual event because COVID was going on, and Trent was one of the speakers. So Trent Shelton spoke, and I took a picture of something he said, and then I did some action because of it, and I took a picture of it, tagged him, all this stuff. He responds, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy just responded to me, how cool. And so I just keep bugging him. I was like, I'm going to speak on the same stage as you someday. I'm going to speak on the same stage as you someday. I'm going to speak on the same stage as you someday. 3 years I do this, and he would respond. Sometimes he wouldn't, sometimes he'd heart it, sometimes he'd say, let's get it, like be legendary, like some of the things he says. And then in 2023 he started following me, and I'm like, okay, so maybe me just like putting myself in front of him long enough is starting to work. Follows me, and then actually reaches, and then I keep saying the things that I would say. I'm gonna speak on stage with you someday. And I noticed one weekend he watched my stories, and it was a weekend that I was going through a breakup and just crying and being dramatic like I am. I'm a very, very sensitive person, which means that I feel joy so intensely, but I also feel hurt and sadness and pain so intensely too. And I accept that about myself, because if I were to deny the sad side, I would I have to also shut down how I get to the happy side, right? So like I'm okay with like when I'm hurt or when I'm sad, I'm gonna be real sad. But I was saying like I haven't done shit this weekend. I'm wallowing in self-pity. I'm crying in bed. I barely got up to clean the rental so that I could, but I went right back to bed and just like crying. And I was like, of all the weekends for you to watch my stories, this is the weekend that you choose to watch my stories when I'm not being the motivational gentry that I want to be. And he replied like, I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate that you're real, that you show people both sides, and that's what people need. And so we ended up connecting. I ended up getting to go shadow him at some of his speaking gigs. And now I try to go to gigs that he's speaking at so that I can learn more from him and also learn more from other people. But that's an example of just putting myself in places. Besides like getting in contact with other people, like it's not, I've yet to speak on stage with him, but I will someday. But I have the contact. I have I have that relationship with him now that like he knows my goal. He knows who I am, and it was something that I got just by continuing to put myself in front of people. Another example of this is this 2 weekends ago. I went to a concert with Abby. Abby's on here. Oh, Abby we didn't go together, but we met at Odessa. So we go to Odessa and we go to this concert I've never been, which is where I got engaged. Everyone got engaged at Odessa. But we go to Odessa and we're watching it up from the grass at the Gorge. So if you guys have never been to the Gorge in Washington, it's absolutely beautiful. That was my first time there. My first time there, I got engaged. But we're up on the grass. It's like a big hill, and you just put down blankets, and you get to, like, it's beautiful. The river and, like, a big valley is behind it. It, like, sounds amazing. But my boyfriend asked me, it's because I'd never been there, he asked if I wanted to go down and see what it looks like closer. So during the concert, we go walk around, and we couldn't get into where the pit was. We could just get right outside of it. But we wanted to see what it was like to be down there. I've never been to a concert down there, so we go, and we're standing kind of in the corner off to the side watching the concert so we can get an idea of kind of what it looked like down there. And just going down there, just putting ourselves in a place that we want to be, everyone that was standing right there, they ended up coming out and they gave tickets to be able to go into the pit. So the last half hour of the show, we got to go into the pit, which was awesome, absolutely awesome. But it was because we put ourselves in front of the opportunity to be able to go in there. I wouldn't have gotten a ticket if I would have stayed up in the grass. They weren't coming up to people in the grass and handing out tickets. They were coming up to the people that were trying to get in there but didn't have the ticket to get in there but really wanted to and wanted to see what it was like. They were like, hey, here you go. You know what? You've been standing down here in the corner, not getting as good of a show because you wanted to be this close, and they gave us a ticket to go into the event, into the pit. Putting yourself in situations where you want to be, putting yourself closer to the places that you want to be. That's how you get into the places you want to be. Sometimes you don't have the money. Sometimes you don't have the funding. Sometimes you don't have the time. Sometimes you don't have something that would get you into that place. But if you can put yourself closer to that place, you're going to have a better chance of getting there. Another example of this is my son. I have 4 sons. They actually all have strep throat right now. This week has been absolutely horrible, with 2 of them puking from it. So we've had very long nights, very high fevers. They're all on antibiotics now. They all have had antibiotics for 24 hours now. Oh, so we just have to keep them on antibiotics for 10 days so that we don't have to relive this, because the last 4 days have been very exhausting. Anyways, 4 kids. My oldest son is going into 8th grade. This year he got asked to play up with the high school basketball team. And he's taken it very seriously. He's gone to everything. He's been really excited. I'm really proud of him and how hard he's working. And this last weekend, they had a tournament that's about an hour and a half from where we live. It was a varsity only tournament. He's playing C squad right now because he's playing up. So he's playing with the JV C squad group and not the varsity. varsity has a tournament an hour and a half away. He has a friend that is going to this tournament because his dad is a coach, and he asked if he can go with them so that he can watch the varsity team. I say yes. He goes to the tournament, and I get a text message that he got asked to sit on the bench. The coach asked if he brought his shoes and jersey, which, of course, my son was prepared because he was like, you never know, right? Like, why not? So he put himself in a situation to be able to be asked to be in the place that he wants to be. So he got to sit on the bench for the varsity because he put himself there. He put himself in that room. He put himself there prepared. He had his shoes. He had his jersey. He was ready to go so that if they did ask him to play, if there was half the team got sick, he was there. And people noticed that. People noticed that. The coach noticed that. Like, he put himself in a room to be able to be there if they need him. And by doing that, he got an opportunity to play with the varsity team in 8th grade and even got to go into some games. I asked for pictures. I asked for videos because I didn't go to this tournament. He stayed with this other group. Nobody got pictures. Nobody got videos. But I'm just proud of him. And that's just another example of, if you want something, put yourself in situations that you might be able to get it. Put yourself in situations that you might be able to get it. Because he's not old enough, he's not strong enough yet, he's not good enough yet, he's not all these things yet to be on that varsity team. He will be. We know he will be. He's working his butt off. He's not there yet. But by putting himself in the position to be able to be there for them and be on that team, he got asked to sit on the bench. He got asked to be included. He got asked to be a part of it with them, and even got to go into the game. Put yourself in situations that you can get what you want, that you can be, that you get yourself closer to where you want to be, so that when the opportunities come, you're there and you're ready. Like, he put himself where he wanted to be so that when they asked, he was ready. He was there, he was ready, he was able to take on that. So it doesn't take money. It takes effort. It takes effort. You don't have to be you don't have to be qualified. I'm not qualified to speak on the same stage as Trent Shelton right now. Like, I've never spoken on a stage. I know that it's like something I was meant to do. I know it's something I'd be good at, but like, I haven't really done it. I'm not really qualified quite yet, but I still put myself in a position to be like, I'm going to speak on the same stage with you someday. We didn't have tickets to go into the pit, but we put ourselves right next to the pit. And what happened? We ended up getting in there without like breaking in or anything like that. My son isn't qualified to be on varsity yet, but guess what? He played on varsity. Why? Because he put himself in a position to be able to get asked to play. Put yourself in the positions before you're qualified, before you're ready, before you're chosen. Put yourself there so that you are an option when the time comes. That is my yeah, that's bird agrees. Yes. What kind of bird is that? Crow? It agrees. Can you guys put some bird emojis if you agree with this message? If you approve this message, this bird is totally feeling it. All right. Well, I am crow. Yeah, that's what I thought. My kids would know. My kids are such farm boys. They shoot stuff. They fish. They hunt. I don't know. Anyways, put yourself in positions to get opportunities before you are ready. Get as ready as you can and put yourself there. Put yourself in the rooms with the people you want to be like. You might not be like them yet, but put yourself in the rooms with the people you want to be like. That is where you're going to find growth. That is where you're going to find opportunities. And that's where it's going to go faster, higher, sooner. Trying to get it all ready behind the scenes by yourself, thinking if I have everything in a bucket and then I can present myself, might give you opportunities. But what if you just present yourself now and then they got to be a part of the journey with you? Oh, crow is usually an omen. Wait, is that bad? This is a horrible message? Does that mean this message is dead? Or does that mean like not putting ourselves in the right rooms is dead. We're over that. We're like, we're done doing that. Yeah, saying that's dead. I don't know. All right. I'm going to finish my coffee here, go in, give everybody their antibiotics, start disinfecting my entire house. Okay. I love you guys. And share this message. If you thought this message was helpful, please share this with somebody that needs to hear it, that needs to be reminded that they got to keep putting themselves in the rooms. They got to keep putting themselves out there. They just got to keep making effort before they're ready, before they're qualified. Put yourselves in front of people that you want to be like and watch yourself grow. All right. Have a great day.